Of course, it's every vegan's responsibility to not just not participate in the overarching culture of the world that says it's perfectly okay to take sentient beings that have the ability to feel pain and suffer just like we do, and treat them like objects and to use and kill them as we see fit. But it's also your responsibility to make some noise about it, to bring it into everyday conversation somehow. And vegans come from all walks of life. We're all different. We've all got different gifts. So you have to figure out what's the best way for me to spread the word about what vegans are doing and what's happening to animals and why we're trying to liberate them. And in that, you also just have to be vocal and open about who you are and what your morals are. You can't let anyone shame you into veganism not being a part of your personality. Um, it's weird that it even should be a part of your personality because you don't walk around like being anti-racist is part of my personality, but this is the world we live in. Maybe 100 years from now, when the world is vegan, I believe it's going to happen even sooner. But just for my scenario, 100 years from now, when the world is vegan, is not going to be a standout facet of people's personalities. But now, today, in the year 2021, it has to be. Because if it's not, if we keep it hidden, if we stay quiet about it, then who else is going to speak up for all the victims that have no ability to speak up for themselves? In being vocal, you're going to attract you're going to attract hate. You're going to attract some nasty people. Um, Now, this is different from attracting debate and attracting people who want to challenge you on your worldview. That's different. People who want to challenge you on your worldview, you can tell when they're just trying to pick on you for who you are and what you believe and who you're fighting for, versus someone who is genuinely trying to figure out, trying to understand your worldview, and trying to essentially play devil's advocate so that they can better understand. Those people who question you but are intellectually honest, they are worth your time. But because of our general culture, you're also going to attract a lot of people who are going to challenge you but are not worth it. Because these people will challenge you just for the sake of being able to feel comfortable in the lifestyle that they've known since birth, and just to be able to still stay feeling comfortable in their social circle so that they don't have to be the only one who's vegan and everyone else around them. You're going to attract a lot of people because you have to understand that everyone on earth, almost everybody on earth, save for like a very, very tiny percentage of people, we were all born into a carnist culture. It's all we know. I talk about how it took me 5 years to quote unquote go vegan. And even when I went vegan, I was plant based. Why did it take me 5 years? Because I wasn't constantly staying aware of what I was contributing to every time I failed at being vegan. And it's because I wasn't aware, because I didn't know what life was like as somebody who holds the same moral standards that I hold today. It was just normal for me. And it wasn't until I was actually vegan, not plant based, but vegan, when I started to realize that every time I quote unquote failed at being vegan, it wasn't, I thought I was going back to eating meat. Like I would go vegan and then go back to the normal of eating meat. What I didn't realize is me going back to eating meat was more set up the way, say, someone who's addicted to drugs and they try to stop and go back to sobriety, and next thing they know, they're doing drugs again. Or someone who's addicted to porn, they try to stop, and next thing they know, they're watching porn again. Besides food, I myself have struggled with addiction. A lot of people struggle with addiction, and it doesn't have to be substances, or there's a whole lot of things in our world that people can get addicted to. A lot of people get addicted to someone, a toxic person that they should not be in a relationship with, and they try to go back to their normal life but end up going back to a toxic person. And that's how I began to view it. That's how the frame changed once I became vegan and I started to understand why I'm vegan. I wasn't trying to do something new and then going back into my normal life of eating meat. No, what I was trying to do was give up something that I had a sensory tie to my entire life over 2 decades. And then I try to give it up, I try to get it out of my life, just like an addiction. And next thing I know, it's coming back to me. This is what the world faces. And a lot of people, when you talk to them about veganism, this is what they face. They don't know a life without meat. They don't know a life without dairy and eggs. For a lot of people, it seems almost unfathomable. And because that's the way it is for our general society, when you have one person who starts to berate you because you were able to make enough room in your heart for victims that don't look like us and don't always act like us and aren't the same species as us. Now they can berate you, and guess what? Society has their back for berating you because everyone else is doing it too. As a vegan, and especially when you're being vocal, you have to leave your ego at the door. Veganism isn't about you. This is different from, say, if I lived back in the civil rights era and I was marching in the streets alongside other Black people. Well, I myself am Black. So not only am I speaking up for other Black people, but I'm speaking up for myself, and other Black people are speaking up for themselves. There's a bit more ego in there. But when you're talking on behalf of someone who can't speak for themselves at all, you have to leave your ego and your pride at the door, because it's not about you. It's not about you at all. And carnists who try to tear you down, when you leave your ego at the door, they're going to try to come for you personally, because most of them can't come for your ethics. Most of them can't challenge your ethics, and I've seen carnists try to challenge vegans' ethics, and they make themselves look stupid every time. You try to catch them in loopholes, but I can't be convinced that if I don't need to eat animals to survive, if I'm not going to walk around naked because I didn't kill an animal and strip the skin off its back, I can wear other things and be clothed. I can live my life without causing suffering to animals. I can't be convinced that it's okay to do that, even if society is addicted to the taste of their flesh and the taste of their secretions. I still can't be convinced. And I've seen vegans not know how to defend themselves, not themselves. I've seen vegans not know how to defend the animals, and I've seen them not know how to defend their ethics. But I've never seen a carnist be able to challenge a vegan who is well educated in what they're talking about. So as a vegan, you need to educate yourself and leave your ego at the door and speak up. And you're going to get a lot of carnists who have never given this topic a second thought. They don't research this the way a lot of vegans do. They don't research and look into this stuff. A lot of times they're going to come to you and just try to tear you down. But when you realize that you're not speaking on your behalf. So when a carnist comes and tries to say you're being self-righteous and self-aggrandizing, they can accuse you of whatever. Because if you're speaking up for the right reasons, it shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't bother you. Because forget our egos being bothered by someone who is nothing more than a pesky fly buzzing around your face. Forget that. Animals are losing their lives unnecessarily, and they're being tortured. This is really important, and it's much more important than how we feel because someone pokes fun at us. So don't be afraid to get made fun of. You need to speak up. And as time goes on, more people are going to catch on, and truth will prevail.